Hello, folks, and good morning. Welcome to another edition of Know Your Unit Fried Chicken, aka Know Your Unit One Vision, aka I can't decide on a friggin' name for the series. Anyway, what we're talking about today is a unit that's exceptionally good at defying gravity. Yeah, sorry, the kids took us to see exactly what you think it is. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about one of the best one-shot nukers in the game, and frankly, one of the most versatile casters that exists in One Vision. In my opinion, the best. So, this is going to be the Oracle slash Astromancer. There's actually two of them, believe it or not. So, at this point, one of the main issues that happened with recruiting Warren so late in the game is that, especially in One Vision, you'd have to build him up from scratch. Like, who cares about a unique class that you get that late in the game? You know, no one's really going to bother. And so regardless of how many cool features the class ended up getting, no one really wanted to use it because you're like hundreds of hours in at that point. You're probably done and checked out, and that's about it. So what we've got here is the Oracle. Now, at one point, Cressida actually had her own unique class called the Summoner, wherein she would have, for example, ninja abilities and all of the elemental summons, and basically her whole shtick was that she was good at using racial abilities, good at using those summon abilities, but the sheer cost of operating all of that, like in terms of needing completely different skill slots in order to go use different spells and whatnot, it was a bit much, and so that also ended up getting underused. When they got combined into the Oracle Astromancer combo, though, that's when we started cooking. So what we've got here is A, a reason to finally recruit Cressida because she has a unique class now, and B, again, one of the best one-shot nukers in the game. So let's go ahead and talk about a couple of the features that make them extremely unique, because effectively, while, for example, they don't have the speed or range of a basic caster, they don't have the kind of versatility of something like a Valkyrie or something. They don't necessarily have the cool utility tools of something like the Warlock. What we see with the Oracle is essentially a sort of all-knowing monster beast of a unit that's more or less able to kind of travel around at will. Specifically, one of the things that make this entire thing come together is this version of Evanescence. I want to point out this is different from the Evanescence of the basic Tactics Ogre versions, since that's a ninja ability that makes you play dead. Technically, that is repurposed into the Entomb ability over on the Necromancer at this point. This version of Evanescence is, as you saw earlier, effectively a double move. What it does is that it allows them to instantly cast teleport themselves to a nearby tile, and then restore both HP and MP. Now, the important part about this is that it's effectively a travel-based version of Meditate that takes less recovery time to use. So essentially, they can constantly use this every turn, and more or less give themselves pretty much infinite MP. It's going to be a percentage of their MP bar. I think it's like 10% or something like that, which means by default, you can afford most spells by going and triggering this once. And they can combine this with stuff like Life Force. They can combine this with any kind of draining abilities or whatever else, to the point that they can effectively function with infinite MP whenever they'd like. But you might notice some other weirdness here as well, like what's the dual wield? The fuck am I looking at? This is a wizard. Who dual wields with a wizard? Well, this is, weirdly enough to describe this as a feature, the most racist caster you will ever see. Like this, they were basically Florida Man. That's what we're basically talking about here. So technically, every caster can kind of sort of do this a little bit, but every other caster class in the game will have a limitation in terms of what kind of racial abilities they can use. What's interesting about the Oracle slash Astromancer is that they can basically use everything except for anatomy, and they can stack those bonuses to an absurd degree. Not to mention they can train them faster than anybody else as well. What you saw earlier with that heavyweight lizard getting one shot was courtesy of rank 1 of herpetology, as well as 2 stacked books. She is slightly better than other casters in other situations, but when you know what needs to die, and you happen to have one of those bonuses against it, the Oracle is absolutely going to annihilate that thing. Not to mention, they can get in faster than somebody like Ennokos. They can move faster. I mean, they're basically moving on par with something like a ninja. On top of that, you can even go and extend this even further by, let's say, replacing their armor with something like a scout vest. They're already moving in and out so dang fast that you honestly might as well at that point. Just like go ahead and give them 10 movement. Why the hell not? So essentially 5+5 with that Evanescence there. So really, really, really cool kind of gimmick for a class here. But yeah, you can just kind of stack any one of these book bonuses and it'll do that job just fine. But if you want to go a little bit different with it, like let's say you wanted to run swords on them as well, or you wanted to run daggers on them, or you wanted to run an instrument, you technically have that option available to you as well. Like for example, an instrument oracle would be very good at inflicting debuffs and stuff like that. Their casting stats are already pretty fantastic right out of the gate there. But I feel this double book combo is especially good on them. And you might be saying, wait a minute, aren't you maybe reading a little bit too much into this? Well, listen, look at this. So obviously, being the Oracle / Astromancer, they get access to every single type of magic that there is, including ninja stuff. So for example, the old ninja summons that the old summoner class was able to use, she's able to do those too. She gets access to necromancies, draconics, and basically every spell in the game outside of certain support abilities. So like she can't exercise, she can't use bursts, but almost everything else the Oracle has access to. I'm just going to say just Oracle from now on, because it's the easiest version to say. But as far as racial abilities go, since this is only available on a person, we've got access to basically every single one of those, as well as parry and deflect, giving them a bit more durability than most casters of their kind, as well as still retaining full access to Tactician and Field Alchemy, dual wield for exceptionally fast training. Like with those books, when I got her, she was at rank like 3, I think, with books, and at this point she's already up to 6 with only a few fights of training, because dual wield allows for really fast training. We've got resonances, allowing them to train up their elements exceptionally fast using dual wield as well. And on top of that, we'll notice down here at the bottom they've got access to every single recruit ability as well. So they're basically all about that knowledge. They understand everything, they know everything, and they're exceptionally good, again, at defying gravity. That teleportation ability is incredibly strong, allowing them to more or less ignore the rest of the fight. They're just simply above it all. They can just kind of zoom in and out whenever the hell they like. They can just sort of attack whatever they dang well feel like. Because again, they're basically recovering, moving, and being offensive at the same time. They're more or less a Risk of Rain character. So yeah, that's kind of about it, really. You can stack racial bonuses against whatever you'd like, and can use dang near every spell to do it. So yeah, units, strong and such. I would say that's pretty darn good. Now, she does have access to most of everything as far as spells are concerned, though I will mention that when it comes to Dark and Necromancies, she really is pretty solid sticking with those. Just because of the sheer number of debuffs, the fact that you've got Necromancies coming in with stuff like Life Force. Not to mention, even though she can't exercise, she can banish, so there's that too. So yeah, absolutely incredible unit. Definitely would recommend 10 out of 10. In my opinion, the strongest caster in the game, and yes, that is even comparing with something like the Heretic over here. So yeah, that's kind of about that. So, oh yeah, are there any other weapons in particular that are worth probably mentioning here? Because truth be told, the sheer power you get off that racial bonus, it kind of makes me want to not even consider these other weapons. Even if you can kind of bring additional stuff to the table. So yeah, I guess that's kind of about that. Alright, anyways, hope this was useful for you, and y'all have yourselves a good one. Alright, take care.